Hi there. Welcome back. Today we're going to be having a new video today. Today we're going to be talking about tip, tax, and discount. However, this video is going to look a little bit different than the other videos that you've watched in the past because this video is going to stop on its own and have you answer the questions on Edpuzzle. So if you don't answer the questions correctly or you answer too many wrong, you may need to come over and see me for a little bit of help. So you want to take the questions seriously, you want to do the best that you can, and you want to try and get the answers right. So let's go ahead and get started with that right now. So here we are talking about tip, tax, and discount. So let's go ahead and get started with some few key ideas right now. So before we begin, we have to cover our key ideas. We need to know what tax, tip, and discount are and whether we're going to add or subtract them to our total amount before moving forward. So the first thing we're going to talk about is tax. And tax is money collected by the government for the sale of a good or service in order to pay for things such as schools and roads. So are those the only things that taxes are collected for? No, but they are two examples of things that taxes are collected for. But the important part is they're going to be added to your bill. So anytime that you're going to have a tax on something like a sales tax, you go to 7-Eleven, you buy a Gatorade, you're going to be paying sales tax on that, and that's going to be added to your total bill. So anytime that we're finding tax, we know we're going to be adding that tax to our bill. The next thing that we need to talk about is tip, and tip is money that is added to a service for appreciation of work. So you can have two things for sale in the United States. You can have either a good or a service. A good is something that you get to take with you, like a computer or a car or a banana. All of those are goods. And then you have services, things like a haircut, food being delivered to your house, a waiter. Those are all things that you don't actually get to take something with you, but you are paying money for something to happen. So you're getting your hair cut or you're having somebody bring you food. So those are being paid for by tip to appreciate that person's work. And anytime that you have a tip, you're going to be adding that to the bill. You don't subtract tip, you add it to whatever you were going to pay. So that is how we handle tip. The last thing that we need to talk about is discount, and discount is money taken away from the original sale price. So if you're going to pay for something and it's going to be on sale like half off or 40% off, that money is going to be taken away from your total amount. So in that case, we're going to be subtracting it from our total amount. So again, tax we're going to be adding, tip we're going to be adding, but discount we're going to be subtracting. So the only one that we need to worry about subtracting with is discount. The other two we're going to be adding to our total bill. So now let's go and figure out how we're going to do that with some steps to solving right now. So the good news is there's only two steps to finding the dollar amount when we're talking about tip, tax, and discount. Step one, we're going to change each percent to a decimal because anytime that we're working with percents, remember we can't put percents in our calculator, so the only thing that we can do to work with them is to turn them to decimals, and then we're going to multiply by the original amount. So that's step two. So we're going to turn it into a decimal, and then we're going to multiply it to the original amount, and that's all we're going to have to do to figure out the dollar amount that is either the tip, tax, or discount. So let's go ahead and take a look at example A. So here we are at example A, and it says Hedda buys a computer for $670. She must pay 5.6% sales tax. And then we have two questions to answer. How much tax does she pay? And what is the total cost? So it's very important to make sure that you're reading the question to figure out what it's asking for. Sometimes it's going to be asking for the tip or the tax or the discount. Sometimes it's going to be asking for the total. This time it's asking for both, so we have to answer both questions, but you have to be very careful to read the question so you don't answer with the wrong thing. So the first thing we're going to do is write down that she is buying a computer for $670. So we're going to put that in our first box here. I use these three boxes to help me figure out tip, tax, and discount. You don't have to use them, but they are a method that is beneficial. So the next thing I need to figure out is I'm going to be either subtracting money from my total amount or I'm going to be adding money to my total amount. And in this case, since the problem is talking about sales tax, I know I'm going to be adding because anytime that I have a tax, I'm going to be adding that to my bill. So I'm going to put a big plus sign between my first box and my second box because I know I'm going to be adding. Now, what am I going to be adding? I have to figure that out. I know I'm going to be adding 5.6% sales tax, but I don't know what that is. So I'm going to put a 5.6 above my box because first I have to turn it to a decimal. But wait, it's already a decimal. No, it's a percent with a decimal in it, but it itself is not a decimal. So in order to do that, I need to move my decimal 2 places to the left or divide by 100. So I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. And when I do that, I get 0.056. So that's the number that I'm going to be multiplying 670 by. So now I can use my calculator. If you can't do this in your head, 670 times 0.056. When I do that, I get 3752. So that's what's going to get written in my next box. So 3752. That's the amount that she must pay. Oh, good news. I already answered one of my questions. I had to answer how much tax she must pay, and I figured that out. It's going to be $37.52. Don't forget your little dollar sign because we have a word problem, so we need a word answer. So now we need to figure out what the total is, and since I know this is addition, I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, I'm going to add them together, so these are going to equal. So I'm going to add them together using my calculator if I can't do it in my head, and when I do that, I should get $700.52. Okay, I've answered the second question there. So my total cost is $700.52. So notice the answer for my first box was the how much tax, and the answer to my second box over here, or my third box, was the total, depending on how you look at it. The first box is the original amount. So in order to figure out what the tax was, I just had to multiply. However, to figure out the total, I had to multiply and I had to add. So it's very important to you remember what the question is asking for, because you don't want to do more work than you have to. So let's go ahead and take a look at example B. Here we are at example B, and it says Tim buys a sweater for $42. He has a coupon for 8% off the original price. How much is the discount? What is the total cost? So again, we have to figure out two things in this problem. And we got to figure out first whether we're going to be dealing with a discount, a tip, or a tax so that we know whether we're adding or subtracting. And since the problem says that I have an 8% off the total amount, I know that I'm going to be dealing with the discount. Also, the question asked me, how much is the discount? So that was also convenient. So since I'm going to be dealing with a discount, I know that I'm going to be subtracting. So I can put a subtraction symbol between my boxes to begin with. Again, you don't need to use the 3 boxes if you don't want to, but I find it to be helpful by having the original amount in the first box and going from there. So let's take a look at Tim's sweater. So Tim is buying a $42 sweater. Since that's my original amount, I'm going to put that in my first box. Then I have my 8%. I'm going to write that above my second box because it's still a percentage. I need to turn it to a decimal. So in order to do that, remember I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So let's go ahead and do that now. 1, 2. And when I do that, I get 0.08. So my decimal that I'm going to be multiplying by is 0.08. So let's do that in our calculator now if we can't do it in our head. And when we do that, we should get 3.36 or $33.36. So again, I've answered one of my questions. How much was my discount? So I want to go ahead and fill that in now so I don't forget to do so. And then I need to figure out what the total price is going to be, or the total amount that we're going to have to pay. So in this case, we're going to do some subtraction. So 42 minus $3.36. Again, you can use your calculator. You should end up getting $38.64. So that's our total amount. So we're going to write that down as the total cost of $38.64. So again, notice the first box gave me the amount of the discount, and the total, I had to do 2 things in order to get there. Now let's have you try one on your own. So here we are at practice problem number 1. It says Alan goes out for a nice meal. It costs $27.15. He's going to leave an 18% tip. So you're going to be trying this problem on your own, and the video is going to stop itself and not let you move forward until you go ahead and get the right answer. So you want to make sure to take your time, do the best that you can, and try and get the answer correct. If you try and don't get both answers correct, and you're not sure where you went wrong after you see my work, make sure to ask questions. Don't just sit there if you don't really understand. You want to make sure that you ask questions. So go ahead and try this one on your own right now. How did you do? Hopefully you did well, but if not, go ahead and take a look through my work where you may have made some mistakes. Notice that when you round, you want to round at the very end of the problem when finding the total. When it asks for the tip, if it's just looking for the tip, you want to round then. If it's asking for the total, you want to round then. So you only want to round when you're going to be giving the answer the question asks for. So if it asks for the tip, you round then. If it asks for the total, you don't round until you are done doing the problem. Now let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Here we are at example C, and it says Krista purchases a jersey for $70. She will pay 7.5% sales tax. If Krista pays with a $100 bill, how much change will she receive? So it looks like we're going to have more than one step here, because we're going to have to figure out how much the jersey costs, and then we're going to have to figure out how much money she's going to get back, because that's what the question actually asked us. So let's pull out our important information, because we want to have that before we go ahead and get started with our problem. So she's purchasing the jersey for $70. She's going to pay 7.5% sales tax, and she pays with a $100 bill. So that's the important information in our problem. So let's go ahead and start solving. I don't have my 3 boxes here. You can draw them if you'd like. I'm going to go without for now just to show the difference. So I know I'm going to be starting with $70 as my original amount. I need to be multiplying by the decimal, and although my sales tax has a decimal in it, that does not make it a decimal on its own. So I still need to move my decimal place 2 places to the left. So since my sales tax is 7.5, I'm going to move my decimal place 2 places to the left, and I'm going to end up with 0.075. So that's what I'm going to be multiplying by. I'm going to be multiplying 0.075 times my $70. So I can use my calculator for that. If I can't do it in my head, that's okay. 70 times 0.075 is going to give me $5.25. So $5.25. However, the problem isn't just asking how much tax did she pay. So we have to figure out how much she paid total. And since we're talking about sales tax, I know that's going to be adding. So I'm going to be adding my $70 to my $5.25. So $70 plus $5.25 is going to give me $75.25. But again, that's not what the problem asked me. The problem asked me if she paid with a $100 bill, how much money will she receive? So since I know she's going to be paying with the $100 bill, I'm going to subtract the amount of money that she paid, so the $75.25, to figure out how much money I have left over. And again, you can use your calculator. No shame in that. If you can't do it in your head, no worries. And when I do that subtraction, I get $24.75. So that's the actual answer to our question. How much change will she receive? She will receive $24.75. So again, there were a lot of steps to go through there. I had to figure out the tax. I had to add it to figure out the total. Then I had to subtract it from the 100. So there were many steps that I needed to follow, and I had to be very careful in figuring out what the question was asking me in order to do all of those steps. Now let's see if you can try one on your own. Here we are at practice problem number 2. Talking about a set of watercolors that originally cost $15.40. Again, you're going to be trying this problem on your own. So remember, you want to do your best, try and get the answer correct. If you struggle, make sure to go back through my work, see where you may have made some mistakes. And if you're still stuck, make sure to ask questions. Go ahead and try this on your own. How did you do? Hopefully you got the answer correct. If not, go ahead and look through my work to see where you may have made your mistake. Again, you had to do multiple things in order to get this problem correct. You had to recognize that the problem was a sale problem, so you were going to be subtracting. You had to figure out what the discount was, and then you had to subtract that total from $20 to see how much change she will receive. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next example. Here we are at example D, and it says at Target, video games originally cost $22.40 each. They are on sale for 25% off. If Ben buys 5 video games during the sale, how much will he spend? So there are some key important information that we need to pull out here, so let's go ahead and do that first. So the video games originally cost $22.40 each. They are on sale for 25% off, and Ben is buying 5 video games. So how much will he spend? So now we need to go through our problem and figure out what our original cost is. So the original cost of one video game is $22.40. However, Ben is not just buying one video game. He loves video games, so he needs more than one. So he's buying 5 of them as the problem told us to do. However, the problem with that is if you go to the store and you're going to buy 5 of something, you're not going to go in, buy one thing, figure out what the sale is, then go put it in your car, then go back inside, pick up the second video game, go get a sale, put it back in your car, then go get the third video game inside. You're going to take all of them to the counter at once. So when you take them all to the counter at once, you need to take all 5 video games to figure out the sales tax. So since we're going to be buying 5 of them, we're going to take our $22.40 and multiply it by 5 to figure out how much the video games are going to cost total before we figure out our sales price. So we're going to take our $22.40 times 5 to figure out the total video game cost, and when we do that, we get $112. So that's how much 5 video games are going to cost, and we're going to buy them all at once. We're not going to take them to our car one at a time. So now we need to figure out what the sales tax is going to be on those 5 video games. So we're going to take our $112, which is our new original amount, and we're going to have to multiply that by our sales tax. So our sales tax is 25%. However, I can't use percents, so I'm going to go ahead and have to move that to a decimal. In order to do that, I'm going to move my decimal place 2 places to the left or divide by 100, and when I do that, I get 0.25. So now I'm going to take my 112 times 0.25, and when I do that, I get $28. Now, the problem isn't asking us how much money does he save. It says how much money will he spend total. So now, since we're talking about a discount, or a sale in this case, I know that's going to be subtraction. So I'm going to have subtract the $112 minus the $28 that he is saving for the sale to figure out his total amount. When I do that, 112 minus 28, again, use your calculator if you're not sure how to do it in your head, you should get $84. And that is our final amount. That's how much money he's going to spend after buying the 5 video games. Now let's see if you can try one on your own. So here we are at practice number 3, talking about sweatshirts that originally cost $35.60, and somebody wants to buy 6 of them when they are on discount for 15% off. So now again, you're going to try this one on your own. The video is going to pause here, do the best that you can to get the answer correct, and see how you do right now. How did you do? Hopefully you got the same answer I did. If not, go ahead and check your work to see where you may have made your mistakes. Go ahead and fix them, and let's move on to the last example. So here we are at our final example, and it says a blender costs $25.65. Juliana has a coupon for 40% discount, but she must pay a 10% tax after the discount is applied. What will Juliana pay for a blender? So this is a common problem that you will run into every day in your life. So sometimes you go and you buy something on sale. However, you still have to pay a tax on that because the government is still going to collect the money for the sale. Now, the most common thing that people attempt to do is add the 40% and the 10% together, or subtract the 40% from the 10%. You cannot do that because we're not taking a 10% tax on the original amount. We're taking a 10% tax on what's left over after we applied the discount. So let's start by applying our discount like we have previously. So our original amount is $25.65. We're going to apply our discount, which we've got 40%. Our decimal for that is going to be 0.40. So we're going to be multiplying our 25.65 times 0.40 to figure out how much our discount is. So 25.65, you can use your calculator if you're not sure how to get that in your head. When you multiply that, you should get $10.26. So that's how much the discount is. However, we need to figure out what our tax is going to be on our new amount. So in order to figure out our new amount, we're going to take our $25.65 and subtract the amount of money we just saved for the discount. We saved a decent amount. We saved $10.26, which is a good deal, only having to pay 60% for something. So now we're going to do our $25.65. We're going to do our subtraction in our calculator. If we can't do it in our head, that's okay. 25.65 minus our 10.26 is going to give us $15.39. So that's how much money we're going to have to pay after our discount. However, the federal government is going to make us pay some taxes, or our state and local government when we're talking about sales tax. So we've got our $15.39, and we need to figure out what our tax is going to be on that. And since our tax in our problem is 10%, our decimal point will be 0.10 when we move our decimal place over. So now we're going to do some multiplication. So we're going to multiply our 15.39 times 0.10. Again, we can use our calculator for that, and when we do that, we should end up with 1.539. So again, we're not going to round because we're not done with our problem, because we have to add those two together, because whenever we have tax, we know that's going to be adding. So we're going to add our 1539 plus our 1.539, Again, you can use your calculator for that. No worries. When you do that in your calculator, you end up getting 16.929. However, we can't have 3 decimal points when talking about money in the United States, so we're going to have to do some rounding. So we're going to go to find our place. We're going to look next door, 5 or greater, add one more. So when we add our one more, we end up with $16.93, and that is our final amount. So again, we had to figure out the discount tax twice. We had to multiply our 0.4, then we had to multiply our 0.1. So it's important to understand when they give us 2%, we can't just add them together or subtract them from each other. We have to do one problem and then the other. So now let's go ahead and take a look at your last practice problem. So here we are at practice problem number 4, talking about Leonard buying a video game system. You're going to go ahead and try this one on your own. Remember to do the best that you can and see how you do with it right now. How did you do? Hopefully you got the same answer that I did, $219.45. If not, go ahead and take a look back through my work. Notice in this particular example, I went through and I added the boxes. That's not something you have to do, but if you're not sure what to do, it's an excellent system to set up. Either 3 boxes if you're doing one step, or if you have to do multiple steps. Notice I have more than one row of 3 boxes. It's really up to you. It's just a tool. It's not something you have to use, but some people find it advantageous. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub, and we will catch you in the next one.